Hi, this is the beginning of my hexagon cardigan. Now this has got a slight difference in the respect that it is mosaic crochet, and all that basically means is these stitches come down to meet the ones below through every single row, and it gives a really lovely chunky textured feel to it. To do this one, I'm using a yarn that I haven't used before, but I've instantly managed to get it through a bundle off eBay. So always keep your eye open on eBay for any fab little deals. So I got 8 of these, which should be more than enough to complete a full cardigan. So I've just begun, and I'm a few rows in, and you can see how the pattern is starting to take shape with where these raised sections are here, section stitches. You do start to see a little bit of a wave here instead of a completely straight edge, but bear with it because eventually they will straighten themselves out and turn into a perfect L, which is what you need for both sides of your cardigan. So let's put this to one side and we'll begin a new one from scratch. So let's open this up. Now I'll add that the crochet hook that I'm using is from Knit Pro. It's the interchangeable hook, and this is what you get in the set. So these are all your interchangeable heads, starting at a 2.5 and working your way up to a 5.5. I bought an extra handle because I do crochet quite a bit, so I like to swap and change. So that's the spare handle that I bought. Scissors, stitch markers, a little tape measure there as well. How cute's that? So this is what I'm going to be crocheting with today. So we want to start off with a slip knot, which is here, and so do mine. Always make sure you've got a little bit of a tail there, so that when you work round, you can slowly tuck that tail in and it'll tighten your work. I use it this way instead of a magic ring. So today I will start by chaining 4. And then I slip stitch into the first chain to make that magic ring, should we say. And chain 1. So you can see there that that will be the hole that I'm going to be working into. I've chained 1, so chain 2 more. And that'll count as your first double crochet. So pop your yarn through the ring, pull up a loop, through 2 loops, through 2 more, and that's your second double crochet. I will say as well, I work in American terminology, so apologies to all those fellow Brits out there, but that's just the way I learnt to crochet on YouTube. So many apologies, stick with me and hopefully you can make sense of what I'm saying. So we're going back through the loop for another double crochet. In the UK that is a treble, and that then counts as your first cluster of 3 into the ring. Once you've done that, chain 2, 1 and 2. As I'm going round, I'm holding that tail there at the back of each row as I'm going round it. So make sure you do that because it'll tighten it up at the end. So you want 1 more double crochet, and another, and another. So that's your second cluster of 3. You'll be doing 6 in total because you've got 6 sides to your hexagon. So once you've done 3, chain 2, and then work back into the ring for another cluster of 3 double crochets. Chain 2, okay, so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters. If your work's getting tight in that ring, give it a tug and pull your work round a little bit to make just a bit more room for you. Chain 2 more, and back through the ring for another cluster of 3 double crochets. Chain 2 and one more set of 3 double crochets. So now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So you've got enough clusters there. So chain 2, and we will be slip stitching in the 3rd chain on that first starting chain, that first double crochet. Now I always begin and end in a corner. A lot of people that crochet do this. For me, it just makes my work look a little bit neater and tidier. So slip stitch along until you get to that corner there. So when I said before about that tail, weave it round with your work, the reason I do that is if you grab hold of it and give it a little bit of a pull, it closes that ring up, and when I've completed the entire piece, I then pop a needle through that, thread it back round and tie it in a knot to secure that work so it won't come undone at a future date. Okay, we have now chained 1 double crochet, so at 1 stitch, so you want 2 more to count as your first double crochet, and we're going through that first space, pull up a loop, go through 2, go through 2, same again, another double crochet there, and at this point I then start chaining 1 in the corner spaces instead of 2 because I don't like my work to be too wholly. We then go ahead and do 1 more double crochet, 2 double crochet and a 3rd double crochet. Now you'll be doing sets like that in every single corner, and at this point you are working in every corner. So there's a corner, there's a corner, there's a corner, and there's a corner. So you're working all your way around like that, 2 sets of double crochets in every chain space. I don't chain 1 at this point to move along, I just go straight over. Chain 1 and another cluster of 3 double crochets in that same space. Okay, that's another corner done. Now we're going to work the same into this corner. This is where you can start to see your hexagon really start to take shape. That's another one. Over to the next corner. Again, don't chain any in between to carry it over, just keep going. And remember, you only chain 1 between those clusters of 3s in the corners. Into the next one. If I'm working a little bit faster than what you will, just pause the video until you catch up. And over to that last corner. and all I do to attach there is slip stitch into that third stitch from your starting chain. And you can really start to see your work take shape there now. Now it's the next row where your mosaic crochet pattern starts. So take your time and just watch how I work it. So I've done one stitch there, you want 2 more for that first double crochet. Okay, so that counts as your first. We're starting in a corner, so you've got your clusters of 3 double crochet. There's your 3, chain 1 and back into that same space for another cluster of 3 double crochets. Now at this point we're not working into a corner, it's the middle stitch here, which will be where you begin your mosaic. So start with a double crochet. Okay, that's your first one. Now yarn over once and yarn over twice, so you've got 3 loops on your hook, and then this stitch below we're going underneath that middle stitch there. So put your hook through there and underneath that first post, grab your yarn, pull it through. Now keep your tension a little bit loose so that you can pull that up a little bit, because you want this stitch to come up to your work and not your work coming down to meet the stitch. So yarn over and go through 2 loops, yarn over again through 2 loops, and yarn over again through the last 2 loops, and that is what begins your mosaic crochet. Now yarn over again and into the same space for 1 double crochet, and that's your first section done. Now we're into a corner, so again we've got 2 lots of 3 double crochet. So you've got 3 double crochet, chain 1 and 3 double crochet again into that same corner space. Okay, that's the corner done. Now we're back into that middle space, and the mosaic crochet will be going through that middle post down there. So you start with 1 double crochet, then yarn over and yarn over again, so you've got 3 loops on your hook. Come down to that stitch below and come underneath it and out the other side. Okay, grab your yarn, pull it through, pull up your loop, yarn over through those first 2 loops, yarn over through the second 2 loops, and yarn over through the final 2 loops, and then finish that with 1 double crochet into that same space. Okay, so that's your second mosaic stitch done. Now you're going back over to a corner, so again you've got your clusters of 3 with 1 chain space in between. Chain 1, back into that same space. Now you've got that middle space again, so we're going to do the same as we've just done before. 1 double crochet, yarn over again, so you've got those 3 loops, drop down to that row below and underneath that middle post. Grab your yarn, pull it through and pull your work up a little bit. Through 2, through 2, through 2 again. Okay, that's this. And finish that off with 1 double crochet into that same space. Now back into a corner, so again we want your clusters of 3s. chain 1 and back into that same space. Okay, now we're back into that middle space again, so we want 1 double crochet, then yarn over and yarn over again and drop down to that post below and underneath. Pull your yarn through, pull it up a little, yarn over through the first 2, through the second 2 and through the third 2, and that is your mosaic stitch there. And through there and 1 double crochet. Back into a corner, so we've got your clusters of 3s. 1, 2 and 3, chain 1 and back in, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet and 3 double crochet, and back into that middle space again. It does get easier and it's not all that hard once you've got used to it. The main thing to concentrate on is your tension. If it's too tight, it'll cause your work to curl. Pull that loop up, through 2, through 2, through 2 again, and then finish with 1 double crochet. Okay, see how it's progressing so far. Now we're going back over to another corner, so you want your 3s again. 1, 2 and 3, chain 1 and back in with another 3 double crochet. You've got 1 space left there, so 1 double crochet, yarn over again, 3 loops on your hook, come down to that middle post below and come underneath it and out the other side. Grab your yarn, pull it through, pull it up a little bit, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through another 2, yarn over and through the final 2, and finish with 1 double crochet. Slip stitch to that 3rd chain from your starting chain, 1, and that is the beginning of your first round of mosaic. Continuing on from the previous row, you've just completed your first round of the mosaic crochet pattern for a hexagon cardigan. You've chained 1 already, so chain 2 more to count as your first double crochet. You're starting off in a corner. I always start and end in a corner, so you want 3 double crochet, chain 1 and back into the same space for another 3 double crochet. Okay, now we're going over to this space here. Okay, and we're going to start doing a mosaic into that middle stitch there. So your first double crochet, then yarn over once, yarn over twice, so you've got 3 loops on your hook. Come underneath that stitch and out the other side, grab your yarn, pull it through, just give it a little bit of a tug to bring it up. So yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through another 2 and yarn over through your last 2, and finish that off with 1 double crochet into the same space. So there's your first one of this round. Next we'll be going over to this space, so start with a double crochet, then yarn over again until you've got 3 loops on your hook, and go underneath that stitch below, a little bit like front post double crochet. Pull your work up, yarn over through the first 2, yarn over through the second 2, and yarn over for the third 2, and then finish that off with a double crochet. There we go. Over to the corner, so you've got your clusters of 3 with a chain 1 in the middle. Chain 1, back in for another cluster of 3 double crochet. Okay, now we're back over to this space, which is a mosaic space. So 1 double crochet, yarn over again for those 3 loops, and we'll be going to this space below. Okay, pull your yarn through, pull it up, yarn over through those 2, yarn over through the next 2, and yarn over again for the final 2, and finish that off with 1 double crochet into that same space. And there's your next one. This space next, so again it's a mosaic space, so 1 double crochet, yarn over again, so you've got your 3 loops, and you drop into that middle stitch below. Pull your yarn through, pull it up a little bit, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and yarn over through the last 2, and then you finish that off with 1 double crochet. When it comes to your next round, you'll start going through these, so your work starts to become less tight, so it doesn't curl quite as much. Now we're going back over to a corner again, so you've got 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets again, and you'll do that in every single corner. Okay, now we've done that corner and we're going over to this space, so again you've got your mosaic stitch in there, so 1 double crochet, yarn over again, so you've got those 3 loops on your hook, and drop down to that stitch there. Okay, pull it through, pull your work up a little bit, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through the last 2, and finish that with 1 double crochet in the same space. Okay, over to the next, 1 double crochet, yarn over once, yarn over twice, 3 loops on your hook, and you drop down to that stitch below. Pull your yarn through, pull it up a little bit, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and yarn over through the final 2 with 1 double crochet into that same space. Okay, and now we're going back over to a corner again, so 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Chain 1. Just try your best not to be too tight with your tension. If, like me, you do crochet quite tightly, go up a hook size until you get used to how to have your tension with this pattern. I had to do it and then unravel a few times and go again. So you're not alone if that's what you need to do. So we've just completed that corner and now we're back in this space and we'll be going into that stitch again below. So 1 double crochet, yarn over once, yarn over twice, 3 loops on my hook and underneath that stitch below. Pull it up, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2 and yarn over through the final 2 and finish with 1 double crochet. This is one of those patterns where you really want to put that hook to use. Use your hook to guide it through. It makes it so much easier if you get used to that. So move along again and we're back into another mosaic space, 1 double crochet, then yarn over twice, so you've got 3 loops on your hook and go into that underneath space below and pull it through. Always remember to pull it up a little bit to give you that height. So through the first 2, yarn over through the second 2, yarn over for the third and finish with 1 double crochet like that. Now we're into a corner space again, so 3 double crochets, chain 1 and another 3 double crochets. Now we're back into this space, so again we'll be going under that stitch below, 1 double crochet, then we want yarn over again, 3 loops on your hook and drop down to that stitch below, pull it through, lift it up a little bit, through 2, through 2, through 2 again, and that is your mosaic stitch. Finish off with 1 double crochet into the same space. So you can see how it's really starting to come together. Once colours change, it might be a little bit easier for you to see. So onto the next space with 1 double crochet, yarn over once, yarn over twice, 3 loops on your hook and then drop to this one below. There we go. Pull your yarn through, pull it up a little bit, through the first 2, through the second 2, through the third 2 and then finish with 1 double crochet. Over to the corner for your 3 double crochet, chain 1 and 3 double crochet again. Okay. Now we're going into this space. It's a lot like a granny square, only it's a hexagon. 1 double crochet, yarn over again, and we're going into this stitch below, the middle one. Pull your yarn through, lift it up a little bit, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through those last 2 and finish with 1 double crochet. And the last slot is 1 double crochet, yarn over once, yarn over twice, through the stitch below, pull your yarn through, lift it up, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through the last 2 and finish with 1 double crochet. Now I want to slip stitch over to the third chain, which should be 1, 2 and 3. And then I just carry on slip stitching across until I'm back into that corner, but don't pull the stitches too tight because I don't want to cause the corner to curl. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. You've got your mosaic stitches there, there and there. Now when it comes to your next row, you'll start in your corner with your 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Then you'll come into this space, which will be 1 double crochet, drop down for your mosaic stitch below, finish with 1 double crochet. Over to the next, it will be 1 double crochet, but then instead of going to the middle stitch below, you'll be going through this instead. And that's where your work starts to get a little bit less tight. So you'll go through this one, through 3 loops, 3 lots, finish with 1 double crochet, then come over to this stitch and you'll do your 1 double crochet, drop down to that middle stitch for your mosaic stitch, and then 1 double crochet and back into your corner, and you'll follow that all the way around. So I'll start with you and then we'll meet when you finish that row. Okay, so we've chained 1 already, so we want 2 more to count as your first double crochet, and you want 3 in there. So there's your first, second and third, chain 1, and 3. Now I just wanted to add, while we're in that space, some people like to put in 2 chains in each corner. Now if you are one of said people, then do it. It's entirely up to you, it's personal preference, and with everything crochet it's down to your experience. So by all means follow the pattern, but if you need to, add 2 stitches in there. If your work starts curling up and it's too tight, you're quite welcome to add a stitch between these chains as well. It's again entirely up to you. I just find that with my work I prefer just that 1 stitch. Now later on, as the project gets bigger, if I think that my work is still curling a little bit, I will occasionally add 2 stitches, but if I do it on 1, I will do it on every single space all the way around. Every corner I will add that extra stitch. So instead of it being 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, I can do 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, but I don't add them in these in between each chain. So again, it's entirely up to you. I just find that that is what works better for me, and like I said, with crochet it is completely down to personal preference. How you work could be very different from how I work. I'm self-taught, I don't write patterns, I just sort of wing it as I go, and 9 times out of 10 it turns out okay. So that's what I'm sharing with you today. So don't hold me to account if you think I'm doing something wrong. It's just my way, and if you don't agree with it or it doesn't work out for you, do it your way. Right, so first corner done, over to this stitch. Start with 1 double crochet. It's a mosaic stitch, so yarn over twice under that first, under the middle stitch below. It's your first mosaic stitch of this round. Through 2, through 2, through 2. Once you get into the swing of it, you soon get the hang of it. And then once we've got our first hexagons together, I will put them both together. I'll show you how I attach, how I do the back panel. Then we'll go on to the hood. Once we've completed the hood, we'll go on to the arms and the cuffs, and then we'll see then whether we're going to make it into a cardigan or a sweater. It will be up to you which way you go with it. Alright, so we've just completed this stitch. Now we're going over to this space here, and this is where it goes to the mosaic stitch below it. So you've got your first double crochet, yarn over twice, so you've got those 3 loops, and we're going through this here, which is that first mosaic that we did. So yarn over, pull through, give it a little bit of a tug again because I don't want your work to curl. Through those 2, yarn over, through the second 2, yarn over, through the third. So you see? And then finish that with 1 double crochet. Okay, over to the next one. Basically every round will continue like that, but as your jumper gets bigger or your hexagon gets bigger, you will always have those next to the corners that will need to be done. So yarn over once, yarn over twice, and drop down to that 3rd post below. Pull up a loop, bring it up tall enough, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, through 2, yarn over through the last 2 loops, and then 1 double crochet to seal it. There we go. You start to see it a little bit better now, the colour's changing. So we're in the corner again, so you want 3 double crochet, chain 1, and another 3 double crochet. Okay, now over to the next stitch, which is here. If you want to add another chain in there to bring you over, that's entirely up to you. I just don't need to. So I'm over to this one with your first double crochet. Okay, now we're going to drop down to this stitch below. So yarn over twice, so you've got 3 loops on your hook, and come down to that post below. Through 1, through 2, through 3, and then 1 double crochet to finish. Okay, over to the next one. 1 double crochet, yarn over once and twice, and you're going into that previous mosaic stitch below. Pull your work up, yarn over through the first 2 loops, yarn over through the second 2 loops, and yarn over through the third, and 1 double crochet in the same space. And that is basically it. So follow that round. So next you will have 1 double crochet, and then into that space below, and then you're back into your corner, and carry that round, and I'll meet you once you've done. Hi everyone, back again. So I've finished that round, and this is how my work's looking so far. Don't worry too much about these little waves. I know I've said it before, but it's not something you need to worry about at this stage. Eventually, as your work becomes a little bit less tight, it'll start to even itself out a little bit more. If the wave is driving you mad, then the best thing to do there will be to block your work, if that is what you want to do. Personally, I don't bother at this stage. It's just not worth it, because eventually it'll ease itself out. So I've come all the way back round, and you can really see how these stitches are starting to take well now. Just not attached that there yet, so I'll leave that there. So you can see how we've been working from the row below through there. These are the newer ones, and when it comes to next round, you'll have more new ones, and you'll be working into these. So let's go ahead and join our work, and we'll go for that next row. So again, I slip stitch into the 3rd chain in that starting chain, and I work my way over until I'm at that corner. Just do it nice and lightly. You don't want it too tight. It's just to carry you over to that space. So there we are. So let's chain 3. and that will count as your first double crochet. This is the one that I did first, which is there, so that's all coming up nicely. Right, so first double crochet, we want 3 of those, so there is 2 and 3, chain 1 or 2 depending on how you choose to work your corners, 3 more, and just put my yarn around. Okay, so you see what I mean, with every corner you'll end up with that space there. So we've just finished that corner, and to begin our first one, it is here in that space. That will always be, every round that you do, you will always have fresh ones to do in these spaces to grow your work. So for now, let's start with 1 double crochet into that space. There's 1, and yarn over once, yarn over twice. You've got those 3 loops on your hook, and you're coming down to this middle stitch below. Okay, it's a bit easy to see now the colours are changing. Pull your yarn through, pull it up a little bit, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and yarn over through 2, and try your best not to keep it too tight. Otherwise those waves that we was talking about before will just become more prominent, so you want to keep it work nice and loose. It's nice if you've got a yarn that's a little bit forgiving and not too rigid. So to begin the next one, 1 double crochet, yarn over twice, and you're going through the previous one below. Okay, pull up your loop, yarn over through those first 2, through the second 2, through the third 2, and then 1 more double crochet into that same space. Okay, and again 1 double crochet, yarn over once, yarn over twice, and we're going into this one from the previous rows. Pull your yarn through, pull it up a little bit, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and then finish with 1 double crochet into that same space. Okay, over to the next, which is here, which is a new one. So 1 double crochet, and yarn over once, yarn over twice, and drop down underneath that middle stitch. Pull up a loop, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2 more, and then finish with 1 double crochet. Okay, is that making sense to you? Now go over again to your corners, so you want 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 more double crochet into your corner. That's your corner space. Now we're back over to this space here, 1 double crochet, yarn over once, yarn over twice, and into that middle space underneath it. Pull the yarn through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and 1 double crochet. Next space, 1 double crochet, yarn over once, yarn over twice, and through that one from the previous row. Okay, you can see how your work's progressing there, can't you? Okay, so finish that round and I'll meet you back when I'm near the end. Right guys, I've gone ahead and I've finished the last of that row. So you can see there now where it's really starting to take shape, and you can see the detail in the crochet, which looks fab on this cardigan when it's finished. I can't wait to get to that part where you can see what it's actually looking like at the end. So you basically just carry on as we've been doing. Keep those corners, just 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, unless you need to add another stitch in, and at that point you would do 3 double crochet, 2 chains, 3 double crochet, and it will stay looking like this all the way along, right the way through your cardigan, and that'll add some beautiful detail there as well. So you just carry on now, chain your 3, count that as your first double crochet, make sure you've got 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, then here you will have 1 double crochet, then drop for your mosaic and another double crochet, straight over to this one, 1 double crochet, then you've got your mosaic stitch to the one below, which would be this one, and then 1 double crochet again, and you follow that along, and at this point you will put 1 underneath there as well, because again this is every single row you will have 1 on either side there that you've got to add to. And then you're back into a corner for another 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, there, 1 double crochet, drop down for your mosaic stitch in that one, then 1 double crochet, onto this one, double crochet, drop down here for your mosaic, 1 double crochet, and carry that along as many times as you wish. I normally get to 18 to 20 rows, depending on how big the cardigan is or whether I'm making it into a sweater or not. Once you get to the part where your arms are getting a little bit too wide, stop, and I will check back in at that point when my cardigan is just a touch bigger. Bear with me, hold that thought. Right guys, I'm back again. I've done an extra row on the sample that I was doing, and I've folded it in half so that it's starting to take that L shape, should we say, or it would if it was that side. So I just wanted to show you what I do once the arms start getting to the width that I want, because as this gets bigger, the arm will get wider and wider and wider, and that's not what you want if you can help it. If you want wide sleeves, then that is absolutely fine. Keep going until they're as wide as you want them and then stop. But what I've been doing recently, because I've done quite a few of these and I got a bit fed up of having the arms so big, so instead what I did, once this arm got to the width that it would need to be to go around my arm fully, I then introduced these little things, and they're a little God saver. I got them off eBay for literally, I think I got 50 for about £2.50, so they're really not expensive, and they're what seamstresses use for keeping their work in place. So all I do is decide which way my cardigan is going. So if this is going to be the right side, then make sure that's there, and when you get your left side, put that at the side of it so you know what's going to be your front and what's going to be your back. Okay, so what I would then do, so pretend this is a lot bigger than what it is, pretend that that arm is the right width as I want it. I would then put one of these on there and another one on there, and then I just put this one there just so that I can remember as I'm working up which part is the arm and which side I'm working on, right? So to miss that arm out now, so that's as wide as I need it to be. I don't want to touch it any further until the project is pretty much nearly finished. I just want to add a little bit length. So all I do is start from here. Okay, so you'd still be working the right side of your work, but you're starting from here and you work all the way down and around the bottom, back up, and then up this side, okay, until you get to that corner there. Then turn your work, chain 3, and work all the way back down. And you do that until the body is big enough to go around you or whoever's going to own the cardigan or the sweater, whichever. Keep going until your body is the size that it will fit you, okay? Then, before you attach both pieces together, normally we work an extra panel in the back. So pretend you've got another side here. You would work, or I work, a panel in the back. And that accounts for the neck room and the shoulders. If you don't do that, fair enough, it's up to you, the wear it's, how you make it, whatever. If that's what you want, fine, do it. But in my opinion, if you don't put at least a row, if not two, on each side, when you put the cardigan on, it can flick out at the back because it's tighter at the top, at the neck, than it is at the bottom, so it kicks the bottom out. So I put, if it's a thicker yarn, I'll just put one row on either side and attach, okay, attach them together. So in a sense, you've got 2 rows, so you would have four rows as your back panel. On this one, I will probably do an extra 1 on either side because it is quite a nice chunky yarn. So one side, 1 extra row here, 1 extra row on the other side, and then attach the 2, okay? Now what I would do, I would work along the bottoms, okay? So say if you've got your other side there, you're going from one corner, working all the way around to the other corner, stop, chain 3 and work all the way back round to the other corner, and that increases your length. Now if you're doing it as a sweater and you've decided that before this point, then there's nothing stopping you really before you start messing with the length of attaching the front too. And all I tend to do then, if I'm adding a hood, then I add the hood before I attach, okay? Now I don't want to give you too much info and sort of baffle you with me blabbering on and on and on. I do this and I do that, you know, as it goes. So just for now, concentrate on getting each hexagon to the size that you want. And then I will meet you back when I have got both pieces done and I've done that back panel, and we'll take it from there together, okay? And then we'll work on them once it's attached on whether it's going to be a sweater or a cardigan. And the next thing we'll do, once we've got the body attached to itself, we'll then work on the hood, and hopefully that'll take you on a little bit further. And from there we will go for the length, and we'll go for the arms and the cuffs until the cardigan is eventually finished. But so far so good. You want 2 pieces that sit nice, you get that shape that you want, the angles that you want, so that it fits your body. But if I was you, I'd invest in some of these, okay? If you don't want them, then do what I did before and just use clothes pegs. They work exactly the same, as long as you know where you're starting and where you're ending. That's it. So simple as. Anyway, I'll leave you at that for now, and I will probably check back in a few days' time once I've got these big enough, and we'll go on from there. Good luck. Now, just wanted to add, I'm not an influencer. I don't get paid for anything. I'm just a woman with a hobby. So I'd appreciate a like, guys. Thank you.